Women don't realize that men are happier without them. Women don't realize that men are happier without them. Today's video comes from Man Guide. His channel will be linked in the description. Women basically thought that this would keep on going on forever. Watch the end of the video to fully understand the implications of men walking away from relationships and dating. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Mom! Put me back! I wake up every morning, I work, I have bills, I'm too big for the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. This sucks!
Am I too old to be here?
What?
Am I too old to be here?
No, of course not.
Does it look weird that I'm here?
No, not at all.
Am I hotter than these little bitches?
Yes, you look amazing.
How old are you?
I just turned 29.
Recently?
Last year.
So you're 29?
Last year.
And how old are you right now?
1 more year older.
So 30.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, guys. A lot of these videos where you see these women who are on social media crying, and oh, I'm 50, I'm in my late 40s, they still don't care. Why are they on social media? Because they're looking for attention. They're on social media because they are 100% looking for attention and for some simp to come and rescue them. All right? But then at the same time, it's never going to end because modern women, they basically traded in men for instant gratification in the present, and now they are screwed, royally screwed, because they have no one or nothing to turn to. And, you basically have a lot of these F-boys out here. That's what they are. They run around, they leave their husbands for these men who provide no real value, don't care about them, and basically stroke their emotions. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. The more I get to understand women, the less I respect their culture as women, because they really don't give a damn. I'm just being so honest with you. When I tell you straight up, listen to Uncle Angry, women don't really give a damn. Like the streets are always calling, and they will always choose the streets over you. All right. If there's one thing that a woman is loyal to in this world, will ever be loyal to in this world, the only thing she is ever loyal to in this world are her emotions. All right. And her emotions are constantly telling her to go where things are exciting, run towards chaos. That's why women love crisis. They love chaos, they love crisis because it's fun, it's exciting, it stimulates their emotions, and they typically get to pick from the winners and the losers. However, they don't understand that eventually everything goes to hell, and the winners are, they basically become the losers in the situation. It's a sad reality. They're on social media right now because they're just looking for attention. And social media is one of the worst things to ever happen to women. Another factor in it is that you have to understand, when men marry women today, she never loved you. She never loved you. It was all about what you could do for her. And women get tired of us as men. They 100% get tired of us, all right? Because they feel like there's something better for them out there. They're like, look at this old man with his dead wood. That's how they refer to us, y'all. They refer to us as dead wood. All right. They say that our members don't work anymore. They want a man who's stiff, a man who can get it up, a man who can make them feel young again. That's what they're about. All right. It doesn't matter if she's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or even 70. She is still the same person, but her body is just aged. Look at Judge Mathis, the old simp. His wife is 61 years old. She is leaving his ass right now because she wants another man. She already has another man. These women have men out, half of all women married women admit in the United States that they have a backup man. They have a man on the side. Okay. And it's really more than that. A lot of these women have multiple men on the side, but they have a man that they've already chosen to replace their existing man with. So when they say a backup man, they're talking about the man that they're going to get rid of their husbands with and bring that other man in. They're not talking about the men that they are messing around with on the side in those marriages. Marriage does not work for men. Marriage is a sad thing for men, because women, guys don't understand that when they get married to a woman, she has her entire separate life. Okay. Dude thinks that she's a housewife and she keeps coming home. And no, bro, she has an entire separate life. Once she goes out to work and she's working with these dudes in the real world, it never really ends. I remember meeting women. I'm like, wait a minute, you're married? Yeah, I'm married. And they damn well know it's like strange because they don't come across as married women. They're still out there in the streets, okay? It's just basically another hustle for them. And they will always leave their husband to go and find the next best thing. They're always monkey branching. And the sad thing about us stupid men is that we think that we're special. Oh, she left this man for me. Bro, it was just your turn. You should be ashamed of yourself. All right, you helped to destroy a family. I didn't do anything. Leave me alone. Okay, bro. But when she does that to you, when she screws you up and you're crying like a baby and you're getting angry and you start using this is another thing. There's another thing about these men. All right, you don't have a lot of men, and a woman will go and cheat on this man. She'll cheat on him, and he starts crying because he finds Tyrone in his bed, or he finds little Poncho in his bed, and now he wants to take it out on all black men and all Hispanic men or all Asian men because she was a yes Asian man too. Women love hung low. Do not mess around. There are Chinese chads out there. Do not mess around with hung low. All right, he will go Bruce Lee in the bedroom on her. Okay, he will clap those cheeks from all different directions. Okay, he will lay down Mr. Miyagi. He will lay down some Mr. Miyagi moves on her. Okay, don't mess around with hung low. So when these men lose their women to these chads and these Tyrones and these little ponchos, they want to take it out on all men. Oh, no, it's because of these men. No, bro, she never loved you. She never wanted you. Okay, you were nothing more than a long-term trick for her, and these dudes cannot accept it. I see stupid things where, oh, black women are like, oh, I only want black men. And I see these black men like, oh my gosh, what are you getting so angry for? Angry? She just wants black men. She's entitled to a choice. Bro, she doesn't, unless you are a Tyrone, if that's who you are, then that's why you're celebrating. But unless you're a Tyrone, she doesn't want you. I've said it plenty of times. She does not want Michael from IT. She doesn't want the black guy that works in information technology and walks around in polo shirts and khaki pants. She doesn't want him. All right. She wants Jamal from State Penitentiary, recently released from the state penitentiary. Those are the men that she wants. Those are the men that she loves. When she says that she dates only black men, she does not want you. She wants these hood dudes. She wants these prison dudes. She wants these dudes these broke dudes. Those are the men that she's talking about. It's a sad reality. Like, these dudes don't get, oh, you think you're exclusive. No, you're not. You have white dudes out here who are like, oh, there's black women who only want to date white dudes. Bro, listen to me. These are predatory individuals. All right. You have these men on you've got these white guys on YouTube who like, oh, they're like, oh, look how great my relationship is. I got a black girl. And there's a specific group of white guys who are into black women, and they think that black women are better off with white men. And then when they go out there and they pick up these women because they thought they were better than the black guys, and they pick up these women who tried to convince them that their love was special and that like there was something special between them and there's something special between white women and white men and black women, and they're exclusive. And then these women basically just tear them to pieces, tear them to shreds. Now they can't go hang out with the white dudes anymore. Now they want to go hang out with the black dudes and say, because now they're like, because only the black dudes know what they went through. Only the black dudes know what they went through. They thought they were better than the black men, all right? And they went around picking up the women that destroyed these communities. And now they want to go sit down with the black dudes like, only you understand. Look at you, you big old simp. You big old simp. You thought you were special because women will play men against one another. All this racist bullshit that's been going on in America, women, that I guarantee you there's a woman behind it. The average man is not going to get up out of his bed at midnight to go and mess with another man because of the color of his skin. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm telling you right now, if you go back to all of that prejudice that occurred between men, there was a woman at the center of it. Look at all of that stuff with that kid, Emmett Till, that passed away so long ago. What was at the center of it? A woman. And she claims that she was a victim and that she was trying to protect Emmett. Do you really think that would have happened if there was not a woman at the center of it? All of this stuff. Guys, men are putting women on blast right now. A lot of white guys are putting them on blast right now. over all of this, all over a lot of this race stuff. A lot of white guys are putting them on blast. I was watching a podcast recently. White dude was on Fresh and Fit, and he's putting them on blast, going back to the whole suffragettes, saying to telling on these white women that they were how racist they were, and these white men are going out there, they're really coming out and letting everyone know that the suffragettes, the first generation of feminists, they were pissed off when black men got the right to vote before these white women. They were furious that black men got the right to vote before white women, and they were actually advocating that white women would get the right to vote before black women. That's the suffragettes for you. Another interesting factor about the suffragettes, they were considered terrorists. Yeah, the first generation of feminists, they were considered terrorists in the 1800s. Throughout the 1800s and early 1900s, these women were considered terrorists, and they were arrested and thrown into prison. All right, there's still pictures of these women like lofting around jail cells. Oh my God. Women do not understand the can of worms that they've opened up. The reason why they want to shut the manosphere down is not because the manosphere are a threat to society or democracy. More so, the manosphere is a cultivation of knowledge among men, and it doesn't drive men towards wanting to do anything in society. It drives men away from relationships and society. It makes men say, yeah, we want to preserve ourselves, our safety, our sanity, and they basically walk away from society and relationships and dating. Okay, and it leads men to basically start saying, how does money work? How does this work? And guys start realizing it was all one big scam. All right, they begin to understand how women actually think, and when men begin to understand how women actually think, they realize, oh my gosh, this is so screwed up. The way that they think is so screwed up. Like, if men ever tried anything like that, our butts would be to the wind. Society would never tolerate that. All right. Women basically, there's a certain level of shallowness within a lot of women, and their thinking is they don't actually view men as human beings. They view them as a peg below human beings. We are men, and you have to understand that men are hated more than the cockroach in Western society, and this is nothing new. Women have always felt this way about men. The reality is that men and women have always have collaborated throughout history because we've had to collaborate. Okay, for survival. Men have needed women so that they can replicate. But don't forget, let me make this clear. Do not forget, only around 30% of men, 30 to 40% of men even reproduce throughout history. This is going all the way up to the 1800s and well into the 1900s. This whole notion of the old notion of the American dream, that came around right around the 1900s and the revolution, and especially after World War II, where the idea became, every generation will basically try to give the generation that comes after them a better life. So every generation will do better than the previous generation. That all of that ended with the baby boomers. All right. All of that ended with the baby boomers. The baby boomers are doomers. They completely destroyed that reality and that notion, and they gave us this dystopia that we're living in today. Women seem to think that they have 100 years to live. They don't comprehend that hard times are on the way. Health issues are nigh. Modern women are the least healthiest of all women over the last 100 years, and that's only because we can only go back 100 years. I guarantee you, when you control for things like sanitation, hygiene, and a lot of these factors, these women are not doing it. These women have the worst. These women have the worst health in women likely over the last 400 or 500 years. I know you're going to say 400 or 500 years, Angry. And like I said, when you control for things like, improvements in medicine, hygiene, sanitation, for example, women used to use kind of like really bad kinds of makeup, stuff like that. When you control for these things, you will discover very quickly that, women back, even going back a couple hundred years, were still living much healthier lives than women in Western society today. They control their diets better. They took better care of themselves physically. They were less they were less likely to contract an STD because they had fewer partners. Things were a lot different, and their mood, belief, and their sense of well-being was actually much better in the past because they had the family unit. They didn't have to go to these constant 9 to 5 jobs, breaking their backs, being told that, oh, you're so privileged because you get to go work like a man now. Like, these women are going to work for the rest of their lives. I did another video where I basically showed some statistics, and the statistics looked very, very bad for women. The statistics looked absolutely awful for women. It basically showed that single women are, they're not going to be able to retire, and they're gonna end up flat broke. Like, according to, Morningstar, they basically, keep track of this data. That's a company, and they basically used its new retirement savings simulation tool to determine how long income might last during a typical retirement. And the tool makes the estimate based on individual characteristics such as age, income, and savings behavior, healthcare costs, and projected longevity. And according to the tool, single female retirees are more likely than couples and single males to run out of cash if they retire at 65. Okay? This is the craziest thing right here. And you have to remember that the boomers are in better shape than the millennials and Gen millennials, Gen Xers, and Gen Zers. And half of all boomers have no retirement savings at all. And from the ones that do, it's only around 30% have around $100,000 of retirement savings. So this is crazy, or less. And they spend around $53,000 on average. So that money is not going to last them through retirement. All right, that money will be gone within 2 to 3 years, especially with inflation increasing. It's an absolute nightmare out there, and the boomers are running these schemes. Like, guys, the way we're looking at it is the real estate market is going to collapse. It has to, because if the average person is only making, let's say, $50,000, $55,000 a year, and then they're being told to go and buy a house that costs $1 million, this makes literally no sense. Even a person making $200,000 a year in this economy, with the amount of money that you have to spend on everything else just for food and just basic survival, it's crazy that you should be told that you need to spend $1.5 million for a house that someone bought in the 60s for $20,000. That's psychotic. No one should be spending more than twice what they would make in a year on a property. Back in our grandparents' day, it was common to spend 1 year's salary on your first home. And a really nice house would be about 2 years salary. Even for my own parents, my father, he was making $62,000, right around 62,000 back in 1992, doing armed work, and he had no college degree. Fast forward about 5 years later, it was about 5 years later, 6 years later, he purchased his first home for about $140,000. Okay? And if you do the math right there, that's not even 3 years salary for him. And then he just kept on refinancing that property, and he sucked out all of the equity out of it. And now he's basically, last I heard, he'd been traveling around the world and having fun, going all over and living a great life. That's what the boomers did. They just kept on refinancing these properties endlessly, converting them into, there's no such thing as the family home anymore. All right. These people they've made it clear that nothing will be left for us, and not only will nothing be left for the next generation, but they're writing these checks like they're sucking everything out. They're kicking the can down the road, and they're demanding that future generations just continue to pay for everything. And it's impossible. Like, I think the banks have lost their minds. The math that the banks are using is insane, because we're becoming a society of renters, where no one will be able to afford a house, and you'd have to be an idiot to purchase a property. And the rents are getting so out of control that, the notion of how long can this scam continue before guys, the next time we have a massive economic downturn, guys, the smartest thing for a lot of people to do, Like, Gen Z are a bunch of scummers. They're not good people. They're bad muffins. And I said that they're going to be, they're going to be stealing and squatting in the future, like near future. But that's who they're going to become. But even the average American who's done everything right, a lot of them are going to begin doing. They're not going to steal necessarily, but it is a form of stealing. A lot of the average American is just going to say, you know what? I'm not going to move out. I'm going to just keep living here because I have a couple of guys. This is what the boomers are going to do. When the boomers cannot afford crap anymore, they're just going to squat. All right, they'll stop paying their mortgages and they'll still live there for a couple of years until they're thrown out. Forget about the boomers, though. We're talking about the average American, the average millennial. Forget about Gen Z. We already know what Gen Z is about. But we're talking about the people who actually keep the economy going. The millennials, the Gen Xers. These people, a lot of these people who've been working their entire lives and they've been screwed by the economy. They've been screwed by the boomers. When crap hits the fan, it's already hard enough to get a job as it is, and they cannot survive anymore. A lot of these people are just going to say, you know what, we're going to squat. We're going to stop paying our rent, and we're not going. And the state, our landlord can spend the next 2 years or more trying to remove us from that apartment, and the smart ones will just save whatever money they can. But people are not just going to move out of their homes just like that. They're not going to. Why go be homeless? No, they're going to stay there for as long as they can, and it's a screwed up thing. But if you've been working, they're going to pass the buck back on because the boomers have done this, creating, spending. People are spending all of their income to pay rent, and to pay for food. And even then, they can barely eat and they can barely live. And like I said, don't listen to the Gen Z. Gen Z are a bunch of jerks. Many of them are still living at home, and they want everything handed to them. They're like, oh, our grandparents could buy houses at 22 and 24. Forget about Gen Z. They're a bunch of punks. They're an absolute bunch of punks. They're a bunch of liars. These people are. It depends. It depends on where you lived, the kind of job that you got. There were a bunch of factors when it came to that. So don't pay too much attention to those. Don't pay too much attention to the Gen Zers, but because they want everything handed to them immediately. They want instant gratification. Gen Z doesn't even want to wait a couple of years. They don't even like the idea of like, listen, Gen Z, you could just build a business or stay at home and save your money for a few years. They don't want to hear that. They want everything right now. They don't actually want to put in the work, the investment. They believe they are 100% hardcore socialists. And you've got a lot of idiot millennials and even some idiot Gen Xers that think that Gen Z is fighting for them. Gen Z is not fighting for you. They're fighting for themselves, all right? And they're not fighting for anything good. They just want everything handed to them. They are desperate for socialism. They don't care if the money is not worth anything. They just want as much of it as possible. This is how messed up they are psychologically. And they're so foolish. They're like, oh, whose fault is that? No, it's your fault, kid. You're going to suffer. All right? No one's going to come and rescue you. No one's going to bail you out. And blaming your parents, no matter how terrible your parents are, no matter how much your parents have destroyed the world around you, it's still your problem to fix. Look at the boomers. They are terrible people. They are still blaming they're blaming their parents. They're blaming their grandparents. They're blaming they are blaming everything and anything they can. They're blaming their children. They're saying that they have no responsibility for any of this stuff, even though they're the ones still doing it. Every so often, you'll get a threat from a boomer letting you know that if you don't stop talking about them, they'll come after you. These are bad people, really, really bad people. And there's a saying: those who are born rich leave the world poor, and those who are born poor leave the world rich. They were not built for hard times. The boomers are not built for hard times. All right, these are some really shisty people. And many of them are heading into advanced old age. They don't have more than 10 years, guys. They can act like they're going to be able to go forever, but they're not. They have health issues, and thinking that you're in your 70s now, are going to start your life over. Most of these people are going to end up as Walmart door greeters, and they're going to be fighting like hell for those jobs. All right. You're not starting your life at 70 years old. Once you're out of your career, there's not much that these people can do. Gen X will kill it. A lot of Gen Xers will kill it because they know that they have to. Even Gen Xers in their 60s are going to kill it. They're moving into YouTube. And as long as you stay active and, you basically create your own opportunity, That's how it is. That's it. That's how it is with Gen X, you know. But the baby boomers, many of them will leave the world poor. All right, and they don't. And the fact is that they're just like the Zoomers. They don't care about anyone else but themselves, even though they preach kindness. And that whole kindness thing is going to be coming to an end very soon as well. They can scream kindness and love all they want, the good for nothing hippies, but people have caught on to that. And people are going to be extremely sick and tired of hearing about love and kindness. They can scream it all they want, but it's not going to help them. It's not going to save them. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is the reality that these people have created, and you have to be consciously. And guys, join. I want you guys to also check out our Angry Guy community. It is absolutely incredible. So join the Angry Guy. Yeah, it's lit. Join the Angry Guy Clubhouse. You can get exclusive insights, community support, and a free copy of the Digital Nomad Blueprint. Click the link in the description to get started. Yeah, I mean, guys, women don't realize that men are happier without them. What do you guys think regarding this? Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.